What is up, guys, and welcome to another edition of Market Marauders, beating the market one trade at a time. For you Market Marauders, investment channel helps you to find best deals in the market. If that's something you're interested in, make sure that thumbs up definitely helps the YouTube algorithm. So let's jump into it. I'll be giving you my watch list for the week. This is for options trading. So let's jump into the first one. So the first one we got ticker sign TWLO, and that is for Twilio. Their moving average 10 is $303.91. Moving average 50 is $302.65, and the moving average 100 is $314.59. We can see that they ended the day today at $306.10 and are bearish, denoted by this moving average 10 line being below the moving average 50, and the moving average, well, below the moving average 100 and just barely above the moving average 50. So for me, what I denote a bullish uptrend is when this moving average 10 line goes above both the moving average 50 and the moving average 10. So that to me would denote a bullish pattern has began. But at the current moment, or the time of this video, it is currently bearish in my personal opinion. So there are a lot of different ways people measure this metric. Some people use candle patterns to determine if something's bullish or bearish. I just use these different metrics to determine that measure. So on the channel, I like to give some background information on the stocks and not just, tell you I think one is what reason, just based off of reading the charts. So let's go into some background information on them. So just going to read some of the highlights from their press releases. It says Twilio to acquire Segment, the market leading customer data platform. They welcome Jeremiah Brazu, I hope that's how you say it, as CTO. They expand their IoT offering with introduction of Microvisor IoT platform. Now I know IoT is definitely a very big field. It's expanding quite a bit. In my day job, I do have a degree in electrical engineering, so I know quite a bit about IoT just from personal research. But electrical engineering, you kind of know about programming and things of that nature, and that's what my degree is in. So I do have a little bit more information on what IoT is compared to the average investor. So any company related in that niche or helping that niche, I know is growing tremendously. But I'm going to some more of these highlights. It says Twilio arms business for a great digital acceleration at Signal 2020. They announced the conversation with President Barack Obama at the Signal 2020. They welcome Libra Clemson, I hope I'm saying that one right, as the first diversity, inclusion, and belonging officer, which is actually an African American woman or a black woman, say, which I think is very interesting. Also, I thought was very interesting is that their CIO is also a black woman as well. So that's something you don't see with a lot of companies. Is that people with positions of power are African American. So I like that about the company. Me being African American, and then also all the things going on in politics with people saying African American people don't have opportunities. But when you see this in different companies like Twilio, that people of color do have these positions or positions of power for different sectors of the company, because they did not have to make these two individuals the positions that they were just qualified for the job. So when the media portrays negative images about companies not doing their part, I think some companies do their parts, but the ones that don't really get highlighted like the other companies that don't. So that's just my take on that. Sorry to go down a rabbit hole on that one, but I just thought it was very interesting that the company chose action to do that. With that being said, all the things going on with the company and their expansion of IoT, going to the options side of it, we're going to use a expiration for all the stocks that I'm going to talk about in this specific video as January 15, 2021. I think all of them will be able to execute January 2021. Also, all the stocks that I'm talking about on here do have earnings next week. So bear in mind, during earnings week, volatility is very high. So Twilio actually has earnings next week on Monday. So on the 26th, they will have their earnings, which will help increase the volatility of the stock itself. So if you know about options, you know about trading options. Volatility is like the number one key that you need in order for your option to perform. Whether you have a call, which you mean believe that the stock is going up, or if you have a put where you believe the stock's going down. So with that being said, and all that background information out of the way, I think a call is the best option. Considering their 52-week high is $341.70, I think an option or a call. And from this perspective, I'm only doing buying calls or buying puts in this video. So just bear that in mind. Different people sell calls, which is this section right here for the ask on both sides, but I'm only dealing with the bid on both sides. So just bear that in mind from the video. Also bear in mind this is when the market is closed, so these prices are stagnant. Because the market is closed, when the market opens back up, all these prices will fluctuate, but the main key takeaway that we need to look at is the expiration date, which is stagnant, as well as the strike price, which is stagnant. So the price on the left-hand side, or wherever you're looking at on this side, will fluctuate based on what the current price is, because that's just the way options work. So going on here, I think if 341 is the 52-week high, I think it definitely has the potential to go up to 341. So I would say, between 310 and 340 is a good option. It's a good play, in my personal opinion. And you're going to look to pay between $2,970 per contract to $1,875 per contract. Now, in this video, I'm going to give a lot of different range of prices. So, just bear that in mind. Some of them are going to be expensive to others. Some of them will be cheaper to others, So just bear in mind it's just a range, just a point in the right direction for when you start your options journey. And you want to jump in. These are the prices that you will pay. Now, I know a lot of people are, who are new to investing may think, I need to save, a year of income to start investing. I need $10,000 or some crazy fictitious number. You really don't. I'll show you throughout this video that you don't need that large amount of money. This one that's starting off may be a little more pricey for some people, but as time goes on, I believe that I'll be able to show you all some that are relatively inexpensive when you look at them. So with that being said, going to the next one, I'm going to type in ticker sign CHGG, and that is for Chegg. Chegg is a very interesting company. I know I used Chegg quite a bit when I was in school before graduating. It definitely helped me out because there were just some things that the professor or professors would try to explain that just would not make sense to me. Or you would get a book and the book would not explain how to solve different problems, or the professor would not explain how to solve those problems. So Chegg definitely helped out. I also rented a couple of books from Chegg throughout my college career because it helped me, save money. I know the bookstore for my university was very expensive, and the local bookstore in town was expensive as well. So Chegg definitely helped out save money, which was always what I was looking for when I was in school. So going to Chegg, their moving average 10 is $86.17. Moving average 50 is $86.53. And moving average 100 is $85.84. At the end of the day today, they ended at $86.98. So pretty good metric. I would say they are still bearish, even though their moving average 50 moving average 10 is above their moving average 100. Done it by this red line being above this yellow line. It still has not gone above the moving average 50 line, so I would say that this is still bearish. If we look on here, VWAP is starting to go up. So probably early Monday morning, we can see this shoot up and begin, a bullish uptrend. Their earnings is also going to be on Monday, so let's jump into some background information on them. So going to Chegg, just going to read these press releases. This is all public information, so you don't have a special password to get into the website. You just Google or go to investor.chegg.com/press releases, and it's going to be the same sort of thing for majority of the company. Every company that's publicly traded has publicly traded press releases, so you can get information directly from the company. I know reading some news articles from different websites, you may not get the correct information, but if you go directly to the source, which is the company's website, you can get the best information. So they're basically saying they're announcing their third quarter 2020 financial results. Nearly a quarter of U.S. college and high school students know someone who has suicidal thoughts during this pandemic, according to Chegg survey. So uh, they're doing suicide prevention, which I think is pretty interesting, considering their large base of students. I know that's one thing that was talked about when I was in university, especially being in the engineering program would be very stressful, um, but made it through. And hopefully everybody else who's in school will make it through. Especially, I didn't have to deal with the pandemic and doing online classes and things like that. All of my stuff was in person when I graduated, so I can only imagine the stress and strain going on to new students out there who are dealing with this pandemic and going to classes and paying for classes and logging on and working and all that other stuff. Trying to combine all that stuff together seems like it could be very confusing. So they have Chegg announces closing of 1 billion of 0% convertible senior notes due in 2026, including full exercise of initial purchases of $100 or no $100 million option to purchase additional notes. Chegg prices offer of 900 million of 0% convertible senior notes due by 2026. So it just seems like more of the same going on here. Going to this next one on here, this is basically their third quarter results. So if you're not familiar with looking at earnings or earnings reports, you can actually listen to it when they actually do it. So you can dial this number right here, or if you're not in the U.S., you can dial this number right here, and then you can log on to, or you can log on to the website, which is this section right here, and go to the portal. It's saying that it's going to be on the 26th, which is Monday at 4:30 Pacific, 4:30 Eastern time or 1:30 Pacific Daylight Time. So you can tune in at that time and listen to it. Lots of good information comes from earnings. Some of the stuff that they do during earnings is not published in the actual financial report. So just bear that in mind if investors are asking questions during the open Q&A section that they have. Those are not going to be reported during after the press release comes out for the earnings. So just bear that in mind. You may get a little bit more information from the company from listening to these opposed to just looking at the presentation and reading what they have published. So we all know the more information you get, the better. So just bear that in mind. Going into the options side, we're going to look at ticker sign CHEG for Chegg. We're going to continue to use the exact same January 15th date. So their moving average, their 52-week high is $89.82, and they are very close to their moving average, their 52-week high. So I think, it's realistic to say that it will go up from here, in my personal opinion, especially considering, I have used Chegg myself, and I know what it is. I know the impact. I know how many people use Chegg, or how many students use Chegg overall, especially with school have already started back. So I think between $90 and $100 is a good good strike price with expiration of January 15th. You're looking to pay between $800 per contract to $490 per contract. So just bear that in mind. This side, the left-hand side, is the call, and I think between 90 and 100 is a good strike price. So going up to the top, we still have the same expiration of January 15th. So the next one I want to go over is one of my favorite stocks that I'm watching that I think everybody should have on their list, and it is Pfizer. Their ticker sign is PFE. So let's go into them. Their moving average 50 is $37.89. Moving average 10 is $37.89. Moving average 50 is $37.51. Moving average 100 is $37.41. And they ended the day today at $37.17. So on a bullish run up at the current moment, noted by this moving average 10 being above the moving average 50 and the moving average 100, which is purple and yellow line. So we can see that they are continuing to go up. So go to some background information from this company. Just going to read some of their highlights from their press releases. They also have an earnings that is going to be on Tuesday. Um, so make sure you go check that out. So reading here, it says data from Pfizer's adult and pediatric clinical trial program of the 20-valent pneumococcal conjugate vaccine presented at ID Week 2020. Then they have another trial of a breast cancer treatment that they're starting. Then it says they announced positive phase 3 top of the line results for once weekly integrational long acting human growth hormone to treat children with growth hormone deficiency. Pfizer and Sangamo dose first patient in the phase 3 evaluating hemophilia A gene treatment. So I'm not in the medical field, so sorry if I'm butchering a lot of these. One of the major key takeaways that I want to address from here is that BioNTech and Pfizer initiate rolling submission to European medical or European medicine agencies for their vaccine. Also, they've gotten FDA approval on a couple of things as well, and they declared their dividend. So dividends are awesome. Dividend paying stocks are awesome ways to build your portfolio. You basically get money for just holding the stock, which is awesome in my personal opinion, because they pay you to just hold the stock. So you really don't do anything. You're not worried about it going up or going down. But this company actually goes up. So this is one of the companies that is in the vaccine niche and one of the leaders, in my personal opinion. It has been mentioned in numerous debates. It was mentioned in the debate from last night as one of the companies that's going to have a vaccine here pretty soon. And in late October, so most likely next week or the week after, they're going to be giving an update on their phase 3 trial and the progress that they have. So they already submitted to the European medicines agencies, and then after that, they're going to give an update on how their progress is doing with their trial. And wrapping that up. And then after that, they're going to submit for fast approval from the FDA on the actual vaccine itself for the pandemic. So a lot of active things going on with this company. Definitely want to keep your eyes on in the coming weeks. They also have earnings coming up, so earnings is going to be a big thing, as well as their update of where they are with their vaccines. So with that being said, all that news surrounding them, I think going into the option side, we're going to stick with January 15th date. I think a call is probably the best option in my personal opinion. Now, as far as price wise, their moving average their 52-week average is 40.97. But I think realistically you can go out a little further. So I think between $45 per $45 strike price to $55 strike price is a pretty reasonable range, especially considering $40 being their price and what they're actually doing. So they're developing a vaccine for the pandemic, which whatever company comes out with that, their stock's going to shoot through the roof. So I think between $45 to $55 strike price, you'll be in pretty good position, and they're not that expensive. If you look on here, they're $57 to $9 per option. So per contract. So just bear that in mind. So you'll be looking to pay between $45 for the 45 price, and then to $9 per contract for the $55 strike price. So going to the next one, we have ticker sign MRK, and that is for Merck and Company. I'm going to add them to the watch list. So their moving average 10 is $79.61. Moving average 50 is $78.85. And the moving average 100 is $79.19. They ended the week at $79.83 and are in a bullish run up at the current moment, denoted by this moving average 10 line being above the moving average 50 and the moving average 100 line. So it looks like VWAP went up pretty significantly and then went all the way up to $81.61. But levels kind of fell off after that. Seems to be 81.61 may be a ceiling or definitely a resistance line that they hit. So definitely interested to see if next week they will retest that 80.61. So they do have earnings coming up as well. The earnings is going to be on the 27th, the same day as Pfizer's. So let's go into some background information on them. So just looking at some of their press releases, they donated $500,000 to support river blindness and lymphatic filariasis elimination efforts. They presented new data to its extensive infectious disease and vaccine pipeline and portfolio during ID Week 2020. They announced positive top-line results from 2 additional phase 3 adult studies evaluating V114, Merck's investigational 15-valent pneumococcal conjugate vaccine. And it says Merck and Sanofi to present 3 new studies highlighted a combination of pediatric vaccines at ID Week 2020. So they have a lot of things going on in their company as well, a lot of updates. It looks like on here they're in phase 1 of 2 of a trial for something to deal with chemotherapy. So, a lot of interesting things going on with this company as well. And they're jumping into the infectious disease section as well, giving a pipeline of what they're going to be outlining. So infectious disease being, anything that's infectious is definitely, a niche topic that a lot of companies are jumping into to help combat the future of potential spread of deadly viruses. So with all that information, going to the options side, we're going to type in ticker sign MRK. And we're going to go with the January 15, 2021 date. Their 52-week high is 92.61. So they're quite a ways away from it. So I think between $80 to $90 is a good place. You're able to pay between $345 per option to $68 per option. So, like I said, they're not, some of them are less expensive than others. So, depending on your risk management, meaning depending on how much money you have or what you're willing to invest, you can't afford some of these. They're affordable. Like the last one was like $9. So, some of these are affordable. And I would say, the way that I learned trading was to invest my own money. I know paper trading, people may tell you to paper trade, figure out what's going on, but it's very different when you actually invest your own money opposed to when you don't invest your own money. So that's just my advice on that. Investing your own money will also, teach you the emotional aspect of trading. When you're trading and you get a large sum of money, in your account, it's easy to say, okay, I'll take profits. But there's always something in your head that tells you, hey, should I take profits here? Should I not take profits here? FOMO is one of the things as well, which is the fear of missing out. Everybody goes through that. No matter what stage in trading you are, and a lot of the higher up financial people will say, I've controlled my emotions, and I don't do that, and I don't think of that situation like that. But you got to also think a lot of the people in the financial community don't invest their own money. So when they talk about they work for Goldman Sachs or they work for other people like that, they're not investing their own money. They're investing other people's money who have money. So if they have a bad day, they lose a whole bunch of money, it's not their money. So just also bear that in mind as well. When it comes to retail trading, it's your money. It's money you're putting into your account. So just bear in mind there are different rules when it comes to that, opposed to some of the people out here who are telling you, hey, invest. I worked on the desk of so and so, and I was a higher up person, but they were not investing their own money. They were investing the capital of the company. So the company basically gave them a limit of the amount of money they could invest, and then that's what they had to work with. And then their performance was based upon that. So it's almost the same as paper trading in my personal opinion, but That's neither here nor there. Next one we'll talk about is ticker sign UPS for UPS. Um, on them, they are on a bearish downtrend. If we look at this chart, their moving average 10 is 171.86. Moving average 50 is 173.67, and the moving average 100 is 173.95. So they ended the day today at 172.20, which is not too bad. VWAP looks like it is above, so it may start a breakout come Monday morning. But we can see they are still bearish. The moving average 50 and the moving average 100 are way above this moving average 10 line. So going to some background information on them, their earnings is also going to be next week, and it's going to be on Wednesday. So I'm going to just read some of the press releases from them. The ones that are regarding the U.S. UPS enables global launch of new Apple product. UPS SCS digitalizes engagement and visibility of customers with customers. News UPS's leadership in corporate citizenship recognizes the pandemic. They released their third quarter results on the 28th, which is what I said earlier. Gap Incorporated honors UPS with the inaugural Top Switch award for support and serving customers. Donates 100K to a good 360. So a lot of good things going on with the company overall, and I think this is going to be a pretty good peak season for them. So peak season being when it comes to delivery companies like Amazon, FedEx, and UPS, and even USPS, they have a peak season. So peak season is like beginning Black Friday all the way to Cyber Monday, and a little bit even after that, where people have bought gifts or bought things online, and then they're starting to get them in more. I think this is going to be an even larger peak season with even more demand, if that's even possible to comprehend, just for the fact that back in the day, or that's kind of weird to say, but back in previous years, you could go to the store more readily and just buy the stuff there. But with the pandemic going on, I think people are going to do way more online shopping for gifts than they have before. I think some people who usually wouldn't do online shopping for gifts are probably going to start to figure out how to do online shopping for gifts this year, just for the simple fact that there is no vaccine out there yet, and people aren't, still comfortable going out. Now, people do go out for, their daily get groceries and things of that nature, but you got to remember Black Friday was where people camped out. They went in droves, running and bum rushing doors and stuff of that nature. I don't think that's going to happen anymore. I don't think stores will allow that to happen, and they'll probably be moving more towards giving more deals for people shopping online, because it'll help their online sales, as well as that still sells to the company. So whether it's 100 or 200 or 300 people rushing through the door to buy a certain item, and there are 100 to 200 300 people online buying a certain item, it's still that same volume of people. So that still sells to the store. So it's not a bad thing that they won't have that. It's just saying it's going to convert to a different platform, which is reasonable. Businesses evolve, and things of that nature. But at the end of the day, they still all need to be delivered. So going into some more information from them, just this is the article about the iPhones. UPS deliveries are on the road across the United States and internationally, making highly anticipated deliveries of Apple's iPhone or new iPhone 12, iPhone 12 Pro, and iPad Air. October 23rd launch day is the new iPhone and iPad. And UPS has worked weeks to ensure pre-order devices will be delivered to customers and retail stores as promised. UPS is a major carrier involved in the launch, delivering iPhones, iPads to stores, distribution centers, and customers in more than 20 countries. So a pretty good metric for them. I know Apple's debut was pretty big, but this was just one of the sections that people kind of overlooked as far as the supply chain of Apple. So people are like, oh, you can get it from Verizon, so I expect to go to Verizon. But someone's got to deliver it to Verizon, and this is the company that will be doing it. So it's good to see that they have, an increase and are saying that, people can get it because we are prepared to deliver it. With that being said, Going into the options side of this, we're going to type in UPS. We're going to stick with the January 15th expiration date, like I said before. And their 52-week high is $178.01. So they're at 171.90, which is pretty high. But you got to think January 15th is probably the day after, Cyber Monday and all this other stuff. So I do expect them to go up. And I think they'll go up significantly. So I think 175 to 200 is a pretty realistic range for the stock to go up, especially considering it hasn't even began peak season yet, and they are very close to their 52-week high. So with that being said, I think 175 to 200 will be a good range. They're going to pay between $1,000 per contract to $310 per contract. Now let's go into the next one on the list. We got ticker sign GE, and that is for General Electric. Now, General Electric is on a bullish uptrend at the current moment. The moving average 10 is $7.65. Moving average 50 is $7.52, and the moving average 100 is $7.30. The time of this video, they're at $7.66 to end the day. So definitely going to look at them for an early morning mover on Monday. So their earnings is next week as well. Their earnings is going to be the same day as UPS's earnings, so make sure you check them out. So just reading press releases as well. GE signs agreement with Power Generation Joint Stock Corporation 3 to help boost efficiency of large power plants in Vietnam and support training. Long Ridge Energy Terminal partners with New Fortress Energy and GE to transition power plants to zero carbon hydrogen. GE Hitachi working with Ontario Power Generation on SMR technology option for Ontario. GE to complete 9E gas turbine upgrade at Italian refinery CHP plant to help increase revenue and sustainability. GE Steam Power delivers ahead of schedule on a nuclear power plant outage in Romania. So GE and Niger Delta Power Holding Company, or NDPHC, successfully restore up to 360 megawatts amidst the pandemic. So there's a lot of things going on with this company. I think they're all positive in the form of power generation, and I think GE had a bad rep for a while, but it looks like they're kind of bouncing back on good terms, or at least for investors good terms. So with that being said, going with the same expiration date as the rest of them, which is January 15th, 2021. We see GE, I think they have potential to get up to $10, maybe even $11 by this time. But, GE to me moves kind of slowly, so more realistic, I'll say $8 to $10. So you're looking to pay between $59 per contract to $17 per contract, and that is for a call of GE. So going to the next one we have that I'm going to add to the list. It's going to be ticker sign mRNA, and that is for Moderna. So Moderna is similar to Pfizer. They are part of the vaccine race as well, and definitely have a lot of updates from that company. They're in phase 3 trial as well. I think they've submitted theirs to the European Medicines Group, just like Pfizer has. So waiting on updates from them. I know the CEO has recently said that their updates are coming probably around the same time Pfizer's is. So definitely looking for both of those when that comes out. They've also been mentioned by President Trump during his all of his debates, really, and by President Pence as well, as part of Operation Warp Speed, and definitely have a lot of government funding behind them to produce this vaccine. So the moving average 10 is $70.10. Moving average 50 is $70.72. And the moving average 100 is $72.48. The time of this video, they ended at $70.52. So bear that in mind. Go to some background information on Moderna. Just going to read the press releases as well. They completed their enrollment of phase 3 COV study of mRNA vaccine. So that's basically the vaccine. They're saying they completed the enrollment process. I think their enrollment process was 30,000 individuals. So basically they're closing off their enrollment, and then now they're just collect the data and then present it for possible entry or acceptance by the FDA. They're going to report their third quarter 2020 financial results on the 29th, which is Thursday. So definitely make sure you check out that one, especially considering it being in the vaccine niche. Definitely going to think there's some huge updates coming in from this, especially with presidential support. And you got to also remember that no matter whom is elected for the presidency, whether it's a Biden win or it's going to be a Trump win, the vaccine itself is still going to be the main focus of both candidacies. So one thing that you can count on is a company like Pfizer or a company like Moderna is still going to be in the eyes of the public or the eyes of the government itself on trying to get this vaccine done. So if Biden wins, he's not going to say, "Oh, I don't want Moderna anymore. I don't want Pfizer anymore. I don't want their data because Trump had them." That's not the way politics work. So, depending on which one he chooses or which one he goes with, all of these companies have already started, this data. So, that's not going to be wasted. So just bear that in mind. I think some people get confused and they say, "Oh, well, if Biden wins, we're going to have to start all this stuff all over, and these companies, are not going to be able to, continue announcing their stuff or continue researching." No, that's not the way that it works. So, DARPA awards Moderna up to $56 million to enable small-scale, rapid mobile fit manufacturing of nucleic acid vaccines and therapeutics. So that's a pretty large sum of money that they were given. They announced the initial rolling submission of Health Canada for mRNA vaccine. So they have a lot of things they're doing. They're moving pretty rapidly with all of these submissions that they have and upscaling the amount of vaccines that they're going to try to produce. So a lot of interesting things going on for the company as a whole. So definitely check out their earnings on Thursday. But for the option side, we're going to stick with the January 15th date, even though knowing that their earnings is going to be coming up next week. And I think a realistic price with their 52-week high being $95.21. I think between 95 all the way down to 75 is a good strike price. So I think it could test those highs, especially if there's a vaccine, released by this January 15th date, especially with that deadline coming up as well. Also with the update on their financials. So those are two big catalysts to look for with this company. And I think 75 to 95 is a realistic value. So you're looking to pay between $1,190 per contract to $610 per contract at the time of this video. So going into the last one, which has its earnings on Friday, the 30th, is going to be ABBV, and that is for AbbVie. All right, so if we look at AbbVie, their moving average 10 is $84.37. Moving average 50 is $84.02. And moving average 100 is $84.84. So they ended the week at $84.35. They are still bullish, denoted by this moving average 10 line being in between the moving average 50 and the moving average 100 line. It looks like they went up and actually tested this moving average 100 line, but that seems to be a resistance for them, so they'll have to retest that as time goes on. But as for the current moment, they are still bearish. So going into the option side of it, we're going to type in, well, first go to some background information on them. Background information, just read some of the press releases. AbbVie submits regulatory application to FDA and EMA for Rinvoq. I think that I'm saying that correctly. And then it says they announced the commencement of registered exchanges offer. This Vincelextra receives FDA full approval for acute myeloid leukemia, or AML. So a lot of things going on with this company. Definitely good news for them getting FDA approval. FDA approvals on drugs for drug manufacturers is always a fantastic thing, and definitely big catalyst to help the stock move up. So definitely look for those if you're jumping into medical stocks, because they behave a lot different than regular stocks do. So with that being said, going into the option side, we're going to stick with January 15th, 2021. Their 52-week high is 101.28. So at $100 price range, we're going to say, or I'm going to say that an option between 85 to 100 is a good range, because that'll be right under their 52-week high. And I think they're doing a lot of good things for the company. Now, this company actually doesn't move as fast as the other companies do, in my personal opinion, stock price wise. But one catalyst to help move them will be earnings. So their earnings is on Friday, and as you know, a lot of stocks rally to their earnings and even rally after their earnings. So definitely look for the volatility to be high, getting closer to Thursday or around Wednesday. So with that being said, you'll be looking to pay between $415 per contract to $43 per contract. So that's my list. That's my watch list for options trading. If you want to sign up for Webull and get 2 free stocks when you deposit $100 or more, make sure you check the link down below in my Webull. If you'd like to sign up for Robinhood and get a free share, I have a link down below as well. Also, make sure you check out the podcast on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. It is Market Marauders. So check that out. I give a lot more information. And also make sure, lastly, you check out the community tab. On the community tab, every week I try to post the plays for all the option trades for the week. So to make sure the videos aren't extremely long, I don't go over all the picks, but I do take a picture of all the picks that I'm looking at for the week. So make sure you check out the community tab for that. Good luck to everybody trading out there next week, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.